Hello, beautiful souls. Today's video is all about love, connection, and the little things that make relationships bloom. Amelia's heart raced as she listened, and a shiver of fear coursed through her. There was no mistaking the sound of her stepmother's footsteps. They sent a chill down her spine. Layla had abandoned any preteens of concealment for months now. Since Amelia's earliest days, Layla had ceaselessly projected her malevolent intentions, all but abandoning the facade of a loving stepmother. Initially, the shocking words that fell from Layla's lips had been nearly incomprehensible to Amelia. The notion that Layla could articulate such sinister desires seemed unfathomable. Yet, as days turned to weeks and weeks to months, the insidious weight of Layla's intent bore down upon Amelia. The sinister truth took root. Amelia believed she was aiding Layla, all in the name of the considerable fortune at stake. Not long ago, Amelia's life had brimmed with contentment and tranquility. Her desires were few, her heart full of affection for her unwavering father. She was a diligent student, navigating her way through university, content in her simplicity. Unlike many of her peers, she remained unspoiled, her father's pride and joy. Amelia's 18th birthday had ushered in a disconcerting introduction to Layla. Her father's decision to remain single had suddenly been cast in a new light. Amelia's initial attempts at benevolence were a testament to her father's choices. Despite her reservations, she endeavored to offer kindness to Layla. Layla's appearance was a veneer of beauty and sophistication, her manners a facade of politeness. Yet, her eyes, frigid and apathetic, betrayed her true nature, a detail seemingly noticed by Amelia alone. Her father, utterly smitten, was blind to Layla's icy demeanor. Amelia and Layla maintained a delicate neutrality, exchanging courteous words, treading cautiously to avoid each other's paths. Observing the harmonious rapport between his cherished women, Mr. Ethan reached a resolute conclusion and extended a proposal to Layla. It was a day that would forever intertwine with another pivotal event, as Amelia returned home, eager to delight her father with news of her newly acquired driver's license. Crossing the threshold, a disconcerting scene greeted Amelia, her father embroiled in a heated dispute with Layla. Inquisitive, Amelia pressed for an explanation, only to receive her father's vague dismissal, attributing the quarrel to the tribulations inherent in family life. Unbeknownst to his daughter, the truth lay shrouded, a clash born from Layla's audacious demand to be included in Mr. Ethan's will. She sought no less than half of his company, driven by an aspiration for unassailable security. However, Mr. Ethan had unequivocally designated his company for his daughter's sole possession, a fact entrenched within his will. Layla's response left him taken aback, triggering a rare moment of doubt in his precipitous decision to remarry. Nonetheless, he deferred revisiting the matter, preferring not to mar his beloved daughter's jubilant spirits. As Amelia and her father embarked on a journey in her striking new crimson car, a gift commemorating her birthday, they ventured beyond the town's confines. With paternal pride, Mr. Ethan watched as Amelia took the wheel, her command over the car evoking his admiration. Yet, a sudden twist of fate materialized as a truck careened around a bend, thrusting itself into their path. Swift reflexes prompted Amelia to depress the accelerator, but the vehicle's velocity remained unyielding. The grim reality crystallized for Mr. Ethan, who seized the wheel, guiding it to ensure that the impact would predominantly strike his side of the car. The man had met his end, and in the aftermath, Amelia found herself confined to her bed. The room's entrance creaked open, and into it strode Layla. As was her custom, the stepmother entered, her wrath ready to be unleashed upon Amelia. In her malevolent manner, she once again hurled desires for Amelia's swift demise, eager to forestall any potential inheritance claim. However, there was a different aura about her today, a wicked grin that sent shivers down Amelia's spine. Intuition whispered that Layla harbored sinister intentions, a suspicion that time would soon vindicate. "You know, my dear, I've engaged in some contemplation," Layla intoned, her words laced with vindictive intent. Life within the city must prove arduous for one of your dispositions. Thus, an arrangement has been made, you shall relocate to a country estate. With an air of cruelty, Layla continued, her gaze fixed upon Amelia's innocent eyes. I've discharged your nurse, but you needn't fret. A replacement has been found, a man named Noah. Freshly released from a 5-year prison term for murder, he entered the free world just a day prior. Given his extended separation from women, I extend my congratulations. In due course, you might yearn to visit your father. With a triumphant smirk, Layla exited the room, leaving Amelia to a ceaseless contemplation of the ceiling until a hired hand arrived. Transplanted to the rural abode, a wave of desolation washed over Amelia. This place, once beloved, now evoked a poignant desire to weep. The sanctuary of yesteryears had been reshaped into a foreboding refuge, a sentiment Layla remarked upon, her tone rich with mockery. An assertion that here, amidst tranquility and beauty, Amelia's cries would remain unheard, hung in the air as Layla departed. Behind closed doors, Amelia caught fragments of Layla's conversation with a man, amplifying her gnawing disquiet. A mere day prior, Noah had found himself grappling with disbelief at his newfound fortune. Liberation from incarceration had granted him an unexpected reprieve, yet he found himself ensnared in the disheartening dilemma of having no abode to call his own. The restitution process had liquidated his apartment, severing that avenue, while the prospect of seeking solace amongst friends seemed implausible, a result of his own conviction that severed social ties. Hunched on the sidewalk outside a shop, he contemplated his uncertain future. In the midst of his contemplation, an opulent car pulled up alongside him, captivating his attention. Stepping out was a woman of around 35, radiating a magnetic allure. Her gaze fell upon Noah, curiosity dancing in her eyes. Towering stature, robust shoulders, a 2-week-old beard, and a bald pate framed his appearance. His attire, reminiscent of fashions long past, bore witness to the years he'd spent apart from mainstream society. In her perceptive appraisal, she discerned his recent release from incarceration and posed a direct query regarding his offense. Reluctant at first, Noah was compelled to relinquish his silence when the woman dangled the promise of financial remuneration in exchange for disclosure. The truth tumbled forth: he had been imprisoned for murder. Astonishingly, this revelation didn't evoke repulsion, rather, the woman's demeanor swelled with satisfaction. She divulged the existence of a prospective employment opportunity, and given his circumstances, declining was a folly he couldn't entertain. Obliging her proposal, he set forth. Arriving at an enigmatic location, Noah found himself perplexed by the situation. Evidently, monetary transactions were not the crux of their activities. His role as an ex-convict remained an enigma as he entered the room cautiously. His gaze fell upon a young woman, fear palpable in her demeanor as she lay upon the bed. Amelia, eyes clenched shut, braced herself for the impending ordeal. However, contrary to her apprehensions, stillness reigned. The man simply stood there, arms crossed, scrutinizing her. With a composed introduction, he inquired about her preferred position, lying down or sitting up. Amelia's response was subdued, disclosing her uncertainty. Yet, her stepmother interjected, decreeing that only a recumbent posture was permissible, sternly forbidding any assistance in an upright stance. With that, the man extended an offer of sustenance to Amelia. Her surprise initially swayed toward suspicion, perceiving this act as an initial ploy to subdue his victim. Rationalizing the situation, she concluded that partaking in a meal would be the wiser choice and nodded in assent. Noah entrusted her with the TV remote before making his way to the kitchen, leaving Amelia absorbed in the on-screen spectacle. Momentarily, the reasons for her presence in this unsettling situation faded from her thoughts. Noah's return was met with a startled jolt from Amelia, who beheld a sumptuous and aromatic feast adorning a table he had wheeled to her bedside. Startled yet again as he reached out his hands, she emitted a shrill scream, causing Noah to retract, believing he had inadvertently caused her harm. He explained his intention, to assist her in assuming a seated position. A flush of embarrassment tinged Amelia's cheeks as she reflected on her outburst. Yielding to Noah's help, she settled into a comfortable position, reminded of the vantage point she had sorely missed. Following the consumption of a hearty meal, Noah occupied a chair positioned across from her, extending an offer to elucidate the circumstances leading to her dissatisfaction with the enigmatic woman who had orchestrated her current predicament. Amelia, without a clear understanding of her inclination, divulged the chronicle from its inception. In this exchange, Noah gleaned a comprehensive understanding of Layla's insidious designs and his role within them. Seeking to allay Amelia's apprehensions, Noah offered reassurance, dispelling any apprehensions she held toward him. He pledged to honor his commitment, a commitment rooted in caretaking for an infirm individual. After bidding her good night, Noah exited the room. However, at the doorway, he pivoted back, inquiring whether Amelia had her medical records accessible within the premises. Amelia disclosed that her father's study on the second floor held those documents and invited him to retrieve them. She also mentioned the pantry, where her stepmother had flung her belongings from their previous residence. Dawn broke with the aroma of coffee wafting through the air, rousing Amelia from slumber. For the first time in ages, she had experienced a tranquil night's rest. Noah entered, bearing coffee, and inquired if Amelia desired some. Astonished by the inquiry, she posed a request, which Noah accommodated prior to placing a substantial blue folder upon the table. "I located your records, though it demanded considerable effort," he divulged. Upon concluding her coffee, Noah escorted her to the bathroom for her morning regimen. Amelia grappled with acute embarrassment, yet there was no evading the essential. Assisted by Noah, she underwent a cleansing and changing process. Subsequently, they migrated to the patio, where their conversation from the previous day resumed. "You don't strike me as a murderer," Amelia reflected contemplatively. Noah's response was candid, denoting his incarceration, yet asserting his innocence. He recounted his narrative, once a surgeon who ardently cherished his profession. Destiny veered into calamity when, during an operation on the clinic director's son, a fatal error was committed. Though his endeavors to rectify the situation were valiant, they instead exacerbated his predicament. The patient's life slipped beyond reclamation, and under the duress of coercion and threats from the clinic's director, the entire surgery team testified against Noah. This led to his 5-year imprisonment. Even after release, his medical license remained revoked. Unbeknownst to Amelia, Noah had shared a parallel tragic trajectory. Noah disclosed his affiliation with the hospital where Amelia was under treatment and expressed commitment to unveil the root of her ailment. After 2 days of poring over Amelia's medical history within the blue folder, Noah offered a solution, contingent upon Amelia's trust. Confronted with limited options, she assented. Amelia battled agony and fear, but by adhering to Noah's directives, she achieved a pivotal feat. She managed to stand and even take a few unaided steps after 2 months. Upon discovering Amelia's continuing resilience, her stepmother registered her dissatisfaction audibly. Thus, Noah, suspecting foul play in the accident, deduced that safeguarding Amelia necessitated action. Amelia unveiled a potential ally, her father's executor and confidant, Mr. Liam. Convincing him of Amelia's imminent demise, Layla secured his cooperation. Noah journeyed to town, returning with Mr. Liam in the evening. However, the sight that met Mr. Liam left him dumbfounded. Contrary to his belief that Amelia was bedridden and terminal, she stood by the window. After absorbing Amelia's narrative, Mr. Liam instructed her to await his return, and then took his leave. An evening suffused with melancholy descended upon Amelia as the realization crystallized that her acquaintance with Noah might be severed forever, a man who had come to embody her world. During the night, she maneuvered her wheelchair to his room, softly unlatching the door. He was awake, almost as if anticipating her presence. His only query was whether she harbored regret. After gently settling her onto the bed, he softly shut the door. Morning heralded Mr. Liam's arrival, who apprised them of developments. The police had apprehended Layla, and revelations regarding the detained doctor who treated Amelia and the investigation into the car had dawned on her, rendering her realization complete. Before departing for the city, Amelia entreated Noah to wait for her return. Though Noah smiled, a shadow of doubt lingered in his heart, whispering that this earnest young woman might not resurface once engulfed by her affluent existence. As they departed, Amelia turned to Mr. Liam, recounting Noah's narrative. A week elapsed, Amelia's absence persisted, and Noah grappled with uncertainty. Boredom led him to flick on the television, tuning into the news. Abruptly, his own image flashed on the screen. The narrator disclosed that fresh investigation had unveiled Dr. Noah Montgomery as a victim ensnared within the sinister machinations orchestrated by the clinic's chief physician and his son. The consequence was years of wrongful incarceration. The clinic's administration opted to remunerate him for those lost years and reinstated him upon certification. Reporters also shared the tale of a local businessman's spouse, accused of hastening her husband's demise and targeting his daughter. Stunned, Noah struggled to fathom the clearing of his tarnished name, the revelation serving as an improbable beacon of redemption. At that very moment, Amelia stood at the room's entrance, clutching a bottle of champagne and radiating boundless joy. Noah dashed towards her, embracing her with an intensity that conveyed the realization that justice and genuine love indeed thrived in this world. That's the end of my story. I hope it inspired you, entertained you, or made you think. If you want to hear more stories from me, be sure to click the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when I upload a new video. And let me know what you think of this story in the comments section. I love to read your opinions and suggestions. Until then, stay awesome.